So, welcome everybody to the Overthrow, and once again, it's time for us to do one of our favourite episodes. It's Overseas at the Crease, where we talk to players who are, well, gracing our country with their presence and actually playing cricket over here. We talked to a lot of our boys last winter who were down in Australia and New Zealand. We also spoke to a couple last year who played in Zimbabwe and South Africa. And joining us today, we have got a South African, I'm going to use the word legend. We've got a test player. Now, we haven't had many of these on our show, have we, Hugh, to say the least?
No, especially somebody who smashed Jasprit Bumrah all over the place as well. So yeah, it's it's a bit different from the Northern Pyramid.
Absolutely. Hey, welcome Keegan Petersen of Chorley Cricket Club. How are you doing, bud?
Thank you. I'm all good. Hope you guys are well too.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I've got to ask you the most obvious question of the lot. I lived in Chorley for many years, and looking at Premier League clubs and what goes on around the country. Why Chorley? Who got you to Chorley in the first place?
A mate of mine used to be the pro year before me, and he couldn't come back last year. And
right.
If I'd be keen to come, and I jumped all over it because I had nothing else to do, really.
Yeah, brilliant.
Nothing else to do being a winter off for you. Yeah. Come and spend. Now, this summer, it's been a little bit more like a South African summer for you over here with the weather, whereas last year wasn't too bad. Yeah, got to ask, there's an elephant in the room, and we've got to come to it straight away. Have the Northern Pyramid bowlers found you out this year?
To a certain extent, yes, I'd say. Not had the best year. It's quite evident, but I'd say it was a bit wet towards the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I did struggle to adapt to the conditions. Last year, the summer started off a lot better where the conditions were a lot drier, so it was easy to adapt to. And that's me without making an excuse or anything. But like I say, I haven't been at my best this year.
Well, I mean, last year you averaged 70 and you're one of the leading run scorers in the whole country. In also in one of the most difficult leagues to score runs of the whole country. Yeah. And overseas, find the Northern Pyramid famously difficult to adapt to because the pitches are very different. But we've had a look at how you've been going the last few weeks, and you just seem to have found some nice rhythm in the last few weeks, some good scores coming. So I feel like the second half of the season is going to be nice for you.
Yeah, kind of just finding my feet now towards the back end, and it's probably a bit too late. Could have had Chorley in a better position if I had a bit more runs under the belt, but so be it. It was part of the game.
I think, as Hugh said, though, Keegan, you've landed yourself in one of the toughest leagues in the country. There's no two ways about it. We would put the Northern Pyramid in the top 5 or 6 in terms of competitiveness. And as our colleague Matt Taff, who plays at Blackpool, says, it's even tougher this year because they've gone to 10 teams and 2 teams are going down. So some of the battles have been quite epic already, haven't they?
Yeah. No, it's a very competitive league. As you can see, if you look at the table, there's no one team running away with the league, really. So it's still open to, I think, even the top 6 teams could win the league. Anyone in the top 6 teams could win. So it's quite evenly spread, I'd say, this year.
Yeah, totally.
Player of your caliber, obviously used to playing, top draw professional cricket and play Test cricket. What do you have to do to adapt to club cricket? What have you got to change in your game sometimes to be able to to do well at club cricket? Because Steve Waugh famously, I mean, he did well in club cricket, but he did a lot better in professional cricket. He was in the Lancashire League. What have you got to do when you come over here to sort of change your game, or are you able to sort of continue with your set routines that you have for professional cricket?
Yeah, the main thing is just actually getting up for the games. In club cricket, it is difficult at the start, I'd say, to kind of treat it like a professional game because it is different. You can't deny that. I think the only challenge is that the quality goes down, and kind of you need to adapt to that kind of quality too. But not only try be the same, but try be better in some sort of sense. Still try and be the professional. treat
Yeah.
it like a professional game. I think that's the only challenge that professionals that have coming over here.
Yeah, and I
do you
think
need to be a bit more patient with when the ball's coming onto the bat? You know, do you find yourself just having to, you know, particularly if maybe you've got sticky wickets and things like that, just, you know, do you have to put certain shots away so you don't get yourself caught on a thing that just stops halfway through the pitch and you're through your shot? Or, you know, are there any technical changes, or is it purely mental?
For the conditions I come from, the wickets are a lot harder, firmer, quicker.
Yeah.
So the adjustment comes for me in playing the ball a bit later. That is the big thing for me over here. You're always stuck on the edge where you have these dobblers bowling to you and thinking, I feel like just whacking this, but you really can't. That's how you get yourself in trouble. But yeah, it's just basically just bringing your contact point to a bit later, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, that to go from winning the One Day Cup in South Africa at the end of March, as you did, and then to come over a couple of weeks later to be playing Preston in the League Cup, and gotta say it, Hugh, he then went to see our mate Freddie Fallows at Kendal in the League Cup the week after. Yeah, the difference between that game at Centurion to coming over and playing those, I can picture that, you know, mentally that's got to be quite tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm alluding to. Like getting up for the games mentally it's different from coming from a One Day Cup final. All the hype's there, it's televised. Everything is you got to be up for that game, and to come from that to like playing at Preston. No disrespect to the teams over here. I mean, no respect, but it's difficult then to have the same kind of hype coming into a club game than I did before.
Yeah, most definitely.
Just winding it back then, Keegan. So take me back to your cricketing journey, starting when you were a young lad. You know, because I know nothing about the South African sort of pathway systems, and you know, when did you first pick up your cricket bat?
I come from a town called Paarl. It's just outside Cape Town. I played most of my cricket there for Bowland, that is now a franchise. Then they were only a semi-professional team, so I started my professional journey there. Came through the ranks there, playing age group cricket. My dad taught me all I know when it comes to cricket. He was just my coach growing up, and I found my way into the system through that system, through the age group cricket and all. After high school, my journey just went on an upward curve, really. I was quite lucky in that sense to get noticed that early. Most guys don't. But yeah, it's been good ever since, and still going. I'm lucky to have a long career like I've had so far.
Yeah, and you're part of a sort of school system in South Africa. Is it, you know, did you play? Is that part of your journey? Or so how do you know how does a player get spotted? You know, at 14, 15, 16, and jump into the sort of semi-pro sides, or is it much younger than that?
Yeah, school cricket really. It's like the pipeline in South Africa is a bit different to what you guys have in the UK. You guys club system. Club cricket is in the fold back home, but it's more you get identified at school at a young age, and they kind of follow your journey the older you get.
Right.
Which school did you go to, Keegan? Out of interest, I'm a quasi South African. I've spent many times over in South Africa on business, and lots of friends over there. Which school did you go to? Was it local in Paarl, or were you dragged into what we'd call a public school over here?
It's a local public school in Paarl, really. New Orleans Secondary. It's bang in the center of the town that I grew up. My whole family went there, so I had no choice. I had to go there.
So unlike going to some of the ridiculous schools like Gray's or places like that, you weren't dragged into that system. You come through a very traditional route, effectively, and then through the traditional pathway, more like a state school player would do here in the UK.
Yeah, correct. I never went to, or never even thought about going to the bigger schools back here. We have big schools back home. We have Paarl Boys High, Paarl Gymnasium, Grey College, all of that, but it was never even a thought, really. Like I say, I had a choice. I went to the family school.
So that makes
I hope they were well behaved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes Keegan the equivalent of one of our friends, Noah Kelly at Yorkshire, who we Noah had the opportunity to go to other private schools around the UK, but he stayed at Driffield High School, and he could see Driffield High School from his bedroom, and he's just comfortable being there and then playing club cricket on the side of that. In South Africa, you'd have been doing the job at your school that would be noticed by Boland, and that's where you'd have got into their pathway, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. You're a Paarl boy through and through, but then you made the move to the Titans. Was that because... Go on.
But my first move away from home was to the Knights in Bloemfontein. I've been to the Knights, and then from the Knights I went to the Dolphins, and then from the Dolphins I went back to Paarl. From Paarl I went to the Titans.
Which is where you seem to have made your name in particular in the last 2 or 3 years as a one-day player in particular, but also T20, which is far removed from that test match cricket.
Yeah, I'm forced to evolve with the game. It's just going to leave me behind if I don't. I mean, it's no secret that the game is moving to white ball more predominantly.
Yeah,
I've got to try and make a plan to become a better white ball player, or else I'll be left behind.
Well, you certainly became a better player last year in the One Day Cup. You were one of the leading run scorers, scored heavily in the final. And I was saying to Hugh beforehand, the synergy in that final last year, where in your side you had Andile Feliqueo and Neil Brand, who was one of the leading run scorers here in the UK last year as well. You guys have a lot in common there.
Yeah, it was a good side. The side gelled very well. The Titans always had a good side. They're a big franchise back home. So I'd say everyone that plays there is quite fortunate because they're well looked after, and there's a lot of big names that come from that franchise. So respectfully, we've got to do well if you play for the Titans. Yeah,
I would describe it from a rugby perspective. It's a bit like the Bulls, isn't it? The Bulls are expected to do their job over there, and the Titans are the equivalent. Talk about Test cricket for us. You're lucky enough to play it all over the world, but you've also lucky enough to play against some of the most unbelievable bowlers. A, do you miss it? But B, what memories do you have most fond memories of it?
Yeah, I definitely miss it. I've not given up on playing for the Test for our Test side. I'm hoping I do well enough to get another call up.
Great.
But if it never comes, I'm still grateful that I've got to play so many Test matches for South Africa.
Yeah.
My fondest memories has got to be the India series that we beat them at home, where I was player of the series in that one, and playing England in England as well. Even though we lost the series, it's memories that I would carry with me forever. I mean, I played against the likes of Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, all of them. It was unbelievable.
So go on then. Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, Jasprit Bumrah. Which one would you never want to face again?
All of them. No, they're all very cool. Bumrah's probably up there with being the best or the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Stuart Broad, but they were spectacular in their own conditions. They also give you nothing, but I wouldn't want to bat against Bumrah again.
Yeah, I bring it round to where you are now then, though. Have there been bowlers in the Northern Pyramid last year and this year where you've gone, hang on a minute, don't like this one compared to the others? We all know we have a bowler that we love to smack around. We hope it's Freddie Fallows for you. But yeah, he's a good friend of ours, obviously. But is there bowlers who you've come across and gone, that's one to keep an eye on?
I can't think about anybody in particular now. Honestly, can't think of anybody in particular now. I'll need time to think about that.
That's okay. But what about other players that have impressed
you? That's quite a jump, though. Some lads bowling in the Northern Pyramid. Yeah.
It is, but we've got look at Ed Moulton. one of the legends of Chorley and of NCCA cricket. You got some good players there at Chorley as well. What about players that have impressed you generally within the Northern Pyramid over the last year or two?
Oh, there's been a few. We've mentioned Freddie Fellows. He smashed us all over the place last year. I think there's one game where he got 100 of 27 balls. It's ridiculous. There are quite a few going around, I'd say. More batters than bowlers. There's been quite a few impressive batters, I'd think. Like Kendall last year impressed me. They had a few guys that just knew how to win. They're having a bit of a more difficult time this year, but it doesn't make them a terrible team. I mean, same team as there was last year, maybe just missing one or two. If you look at the teams that are doing well now, it's not really particular players that stand out. It's just teams that kind of piece together wins and know how to kind of learn how to win and know how to win. Leyland, Netherfield. Netherfield's always a good team. Even playing on their conditions, they probably got the best wicket in the league. And they just know how to play there. It's difficult to go there and beat. So, I can't, off the top of my head, mention by name now anyone that stands out, but we have played against a couple of good batters, I'd say.
And then you've had you fortunately played against the likes of Luke Hands and Leyland from England under-19. The likes of Josh Boyne at Blackpool. Wily player from he knows exactly what he's doing. Ali Usman, who I'm sure you played against last year for Blackpool, who's now making his debut for Pakistan in Test cricket. That quality around the Northern Pyramid is just sensational, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. They've always had either good pros or even good amateurs. Blackpool in particular, we played them a couple of weeks ago, and that was Ali Osman's last game that he played against us. And it's always good to have the exposure and see these quality players that play for their countries and still play for their countries. I think it's brilliant for the league. I still believe this is probably the strongest league I've played in over here in the UK.
Yeah, I was going to say that you have played in a number of other places in the UK, notoriously over the border in the Lancashire League as such.
Yeah.
What do you see the biggest difference between the Northern Pyramid and the Lancashire League? Because they're very strong, both of them, but they operate very differently, don't they?
Yeah, they are both very strong. You can see the difference in the Lancashire League, the difference between the top players or the top teams and the bottom. It's a massive difference. There's in the Lancashire League there'd be a team or two that run away with the league. It's not that case here. Like, it's open to everybody the whole time. Anybody can win the league. I'd say the conditions in our league, just through experience, is a bit better than the conditions in the Lancashire League. Like, in the Lancashire League is very big gaps between a good team and a good wicket, and a struggling team. You always see they have worse conditions, which is good for you to learn from. You're not always going to play on a flat wicket and all, but the difference is just too big.
And you spotted that almost immediately at Chorley, because Windsor Park's a decent track. Netherfield, you say, Blackpool's one of the best tracks in the country. We're told regularly. But then you go all the way up north to somewhere like Carlisle. Long way to go up there.
It's a long drive for Saturday morning.
It is, but that shows the competitiveness of the league. The fact that they've come up a division, and they've not only held their own, but they were top at one point, and they're doing really nicely.
Yeah. They're also one of the teams that they piece together wins. There's no real standout performances, but there are guys individually that put their hands up and kind of win the game for the team. That's how they've been going about the whole season, and they've done well, given that they just got into the league.
Yeah,
I've been impressed with how they've gone about things.
Yeah, and it's one of the most picturesque grounds that you'll ever go to as well.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Tell me, if you had to decide to sort of stick to a format, shall we say, right now? You've enjoyed your T20 over the last few years. You've enjoyed your One Day Cup. You had 40 over cricket as well, which you've been playing clearly with the Northern Pyramid. You'd love to get back in that Test side, but is there a format that you prefer?
Always going to be the longer format. I still believe it's the purest form of the game. Everybody wants to play Test cricket, and that's how I grew up, and it's probably never going to change.
Yeah, which is wonderful to hear from a South African, which, let's be brutal about it. The TV boys in South Africa love their T20, full stop. And the only time a South African Test ground is full is when we go down there. Which is quite ironic. But every South African player we ever talk to says exactly the same thing.
Yeah, no, like the T20 is exciting and all of that, but I do believe that, like I said, it's still the purest form of the game, the longer format. Sorry. The longer format's always going to be the purest form of the game. But anybody can be an exciting T20 player, but it's good to 2 days or bowl for 2 days, basically. It's just
Exactly. I think the way I always describe it is I can't ever remember my favourite T20 game, but I can tell you which Test matches, and I can tell you exactly. I can remember walking into Old Trafford many, many years ago to see Dominic Cork take the 3rd wicket and a hat-trick in a Test match. I was late on the train. I missed the first 2, but I remember that moment. I remember my first ever Test match. But I also remember, and here's a strange one for you, my first ever 50 over floodlit game. And I had the pleasure of seeing that at a place called Newlands, where England had been beaten in 3 days, and South Africa put...
it's great.
Absolutely. And it's because we got beaten in 3 days, they put on an extra game at a day's break. They put Western Province on against England under lights. And that's when I first saw, okay, we can see this floodlit thing works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a very picturesque ground as well. That is my home ground. That's where I played my franchise cricket back home.
Mm-hmm.
Always loved it. Always loved playing Test cricket there too. It's amazing.
It is, without a doubt. But you've now got Paarl as one of your home grounds, obviously, clearly. Yeah. And you've got a certain young Thomas Rue who played down at Paarl last winter. And I understand they may want him back for the T20 again. The South African T20, has it become as big as you expected, or is it a little bit more hype versus actual substance?
No, it's a very good tournament. You can't take that away from them. It's well advertised, and the show of cricket that's actually on show there is really good. I've enjoyed watching it, and I'm not a big fan of Winnies anyway, but it's been good entertainment.
Yeah, most definitely. Although they did have a very sticky moment at Paarl last year when there was a fire in the car park, I remember.
It's about 40 degrees every day in summer there. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not unusual. Coming back to the Northern Pyramid, you've been lucky enough to go around quite a number of grounds now, obviously after 2 seasons in particular. Is there any grounds in particular that you look at and you go, Joe, I'd love to just keep coming back here?
Chorley. Netherfield's quite good. They've got probably the best wicket in the league. What else is there? It's not a bad day out at Leyland either.
No, nice ground. What about Settle?
Oh, that hill. Oh, no.
It's picturesque.
Nice ground. He's a nice, not terrible either. It's a bit of a challenge. I feel with the weather, when it's dry over here, people struggle to prepare good wickets because they're never used to having the dry weather.
Yeah.
So it's either big turning wicket or it's going to be a low and slow type of thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's, our groundsmen, and let's be brutal about this, the vast majority of ground staff in this country at club cricket level are not young men, shall we say, and a lot of them have been doing it for many years, and they're used to the bit of grass that's green and all of that water that they can work with, and it's all very nice. So when we have a summer like we've had so far right now, it's a difficult job altogether.
Yeah, and you can see that they're struggling. Like, I'm not slagging the wickets off or anything. It's not been terrible. It's just been different.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
to what players are used to over here.
Yeah, and it's not like they're used to what you guys would do down in Paarl or in Cape Town, for example, where they're used to it very much, and the guys just know how to work with that sort of atmosphere, don't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't have enough exposure to it over here, so
Yeah.
only for a month of the year that they have to work in these conditions, really. So you understand why it's foreign to them.
Absolutely. And in terms of conditions for yourself, how difficult has that been to get used to when, we're very lucky this year that you probably hardly had to wear a sweater in comparison to previous years. But how difficult is that to get used to compared to your summer back home, where you're going to be in short sleeves most of the time, although playing up in Joburg and around there can be a little bit like that. But then you actually come over here and in April, it's quite easy to be wearing 3 or 4 jumpers.
Yeah, it is. It is difficult to adjust to. Like, I'm never gonna have a summer where it's 12 degrees. Like, always good weather for us back home. Even when it, not just that, the conditions I play on probably the fastest wicket in South Africa, at Chorley Park, and to go from that to Chorley, perhaps, where it's everything's hitting the stumps, nothing's missing.
Yeah.
So it's a big adjustment for me to come from that to this.
And outside of cricket, what's been the biggest adjustment for you this year? Last year was a huge adjustment, obviously, because first time at Chorley. What's been? There's an element this year of you're used to Chorley, so you know where you're going and what's happening. But what's the biggest adjustment for you that way?
It's probably just leaving my family behind, like the wife and my kids. I got a newborn. She's just old now, so that was the most difficult part of this year. Is them able to come. They were here for quite a while last year. So yeah, just the thought of them, like the kids asking for me the whole time, and I'm halfway. That was the most difficult part of it.
Yeah.
You decided not to bring the family this year, obviously, because your wife was expecting. But you did fly back for the birth.
Yes, I did fly back for the birth. I was there for about 2 weeks, and then had to come back here.
Now, if your wife gets a choice, will she come next year and you'll be back at Chorley altogether?
Probably yes.
Okay, so this is a question sort of from looking outside in. What did your wife enjoy when she was over here last year? In particular, she spent quite a while over here.
Yeah, we come from our country's different dynamics. For women, for example, for her, she enjoyed the safety. Like, she could walk around anywhere and feel safe, and gave her the freedom to like properly enjoy herself. Like, she can walk to wherever she wants, any time of the day or night, and not worry about whatever could happen to her. And I think that's most of the part that she enjoyed.
Yeah, and obviously then she can embrace being part of the cricket club with you.
The cricket club was very welcoming. I've loved the people at Chorley. They were very welcoming to myself and my family. They've been very good to me, and the relationship continues.
So just jumping back with the cricket side of things, like if you could take one thing from your professional career to help the lads at Chorley, what that would improve them, what is there one aspect of the game that you think actually your typical club cricketer isn't quite hitting that maybe they could?
Just the professionalism in how you prepare really is where I feel people could be better as amateurs wanting to be. I don't think they prepare enough. I don't think they train enough. They could be better in that aspect of the game. I mean, if you really want it so badly, then you gotta kind of show it every day.
Right.
With it being skills training or fitness or whatever it might be, you gotta kind of live and breathe cricket if you really want to be the best at it.
So basically, you just got to get them out of the pub.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we laugh a little bit about it, but that's the difference we talk about on our show regularly between the top Premier League players who then make that jump to not just NCCA, but playing for first-class counties right now. You know, we go on about him all the time. A friend of our show, Sav Pereira, who lives, eats and breathes his cricket on a daily basis, has played county twos around a number of counties, and he's now got his opportunities playing the Metro Bank with Somerset. Johnny Connell done the same, and he's now playing with Somerset. You know, Joe Pocklington, we talked about over in the Bradford League for a number of years. Now he's playing for Nottinghamshire and as their leading wicket taker in the Metro Bank. It is that step. But I always believe, Keegan, and you tell me otherwise, I bet you could take 3 players out of Chorley today, and if you gave them a full-time contract to train, to eat, sleep cricket day in, day out, they're good enough to get there, aren't they?
Yes. I do believe this game rewards you with whatever you put into the game, you will get out of it. It might not be in the time frame that you want, but eventually it will. So I believe anybody, even at Chorley or any of the teams we play against, if the effort was there, if the effort was put in, you become a miles better cricketer, I'd say.
That's brilliant advice. It's just often it's difficult for people because they've got day jobs and family commitments, and you know that's the hard bit, isn't it? It's finding that time to commit to that. And someone like Sav Pereira has basically put his life on hold to the age of 28, and he's been finally rewarded with the contract. You know, he's been working so hard, hasn't he? And he's got his contract at 28. So and he's capitalizing. But you know, he's had to basically go all in. You know, all in. He's pushed all his chips into the middle to be a cricketer, and you know, hopefully he can get a contract beyond this summer.
Yeah, no, I get that. People have other responsibilities away from cricket and all, but that's you can't hide from that. But eventually, if you really want to, you'd find a way. I think even with your life outside of it, if you have a job, if you have to look after a family and still want to make it, you'd find the time if you really want to.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's one of the things that Hugh and I are really proud of is the fact that we talk about players week in, week out on our show, but we always are trying to identify those next youngsters who just could come through, because with the utmost respect to Richard Gleeson at Blackpool, and we love him to bits and what he's done with his career, we'd rather keep an eye on a Luke Hands at Leyland and see where that goes. A Luke Symington up in the northeast with Durham. A Thomas Rue, we go on about it, but Thomas Rue, we were talking about him 3 years ago before anyone else was really talking about him. And you know, now he's making it not only with Somerset, but actually he's in the 100. These are the players that, doesn't matter how old you get, Keegan, you must get goosebumps yourself when you go, oh, I like this one. I can see something in this guy.
Yeah, no, definitely. Even I'm following the Roos, both brothers. I think they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Championship and all, and it's to see them play. It's nice to very good batters. I watched them against the South African A team as well. So I think that's right. There are a lot of youngsters coming through the system in English cricket, and it's quite enlightening to see, I'd say.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we've got a really strong bunch between the ages 17 and 21 at the moment. I'm a big believer that in 5 to 10 years' time, we're going to have an incredible test side, an incredible ODI side, because what we've got there is phenomenal. And those boys all love playing all the different formats. And if you talk, James Rue has got more championship hundreds than God knows anybody else at his age. He wants to play Test cricket. There's no two ways about it. And I think, you've got to give these guys a run in the test team, for example, haven't you? Not just one in, one out. Give them a chance to get used to it, and as you did with the number of tests you played.
Yeah, the nice thing about these younger kids coming through now, they're very versatile. They can play all the formats, which it's gonna be a massive advantage to them in future, given where the game is going. But I'd like to think that they would give more attention to Test cricket or to 4-day cricket in the county championship. You want to see the 17 to 21-year-olds be in the top run scorers, just to know that they're learning quickly. They get to, just to know you only hit your peak at about 28 years old. But if they can achieve it earlier, then why not? Just
absolutely. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, you get your fundamentals right. You learn to bat long when it comes to 4-day, 5-day cricket. To switch that up downwards to ODI and T20 has got to be far easier than telling somebody who just does T20 to go and bat long.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is the case, and you can see there are lots of T20 batters or even bowlers that cannot play the longer format. And they're not fit enough, they break down too much, or you see how the dismissals that you see now in 4-day cricket because of T20 playing 4-day cricket. So you can see the difference.
Absolutely. Let's just round this up with a couple of sort of quickies. So outside of cricket, when you're living in Chorley, what are you getting up to? What's the week look like? Are you coaching while you're there, for example?
Yeah, I coach quite a bit during the week. But other than that, I'm killing all my time with golf.
Has your handicap come down since you've been playing in this country?
Maybe by 1.
Yeah. Do you want us to edit that out so your friends back home don't know? Which courses are you playing locally?
I'm a member at Chorley. I play there quite a bit. Duxbury, Blazington, I played. Very nice courses around here, really.
Duxbury was my local course when I lived up north. Yeah, Duxbury's great because there's lots of flat bits, but then there's also that as well. Yeah, keeps you busy. So, who are the golfing buddies that you're playing with from Chorley Cricket Club? There must be one or two of the lads there.
Yeah, a couple of the guys, mostly of the second team guys, and then quite a bit with the child that plays in our first team as well. Youngster, I think he's on his 8. But there are quite a few guys that play golf around.
Okay, and our favourite question that we always like to ask, and I'm very, very open about this one because I know my South African food inside out. What are you missing in the UK compared to back home? What food are you missing?
Oh, braai. I don't know if you know what a braai is.
Oh, yes, I know what a braai is. Are you missing a good bunny chow as well?
Oh, yes. You make me...
And Hugh's now going, what on earth are they talking about? A bunny chow?
Well, I know what a braai is. I don't know what that is yet. I know what a braai is, but I don't know what that is yet.
Keegan, please describe to our listeners and Hugh what a bunny chow is, because it's just a thing of beauty.
It's might sound messy, but it's like half a loaf of bread and they dish curry into the bread. So the curry soaks into it, and you kind of eat it with your hand where you dip the bread into the curry and eat it together. It sounds simple and messy, but it's amazing.
It's incredible.
It sounds very good. Yeah,
the best bunny chows I've ever had in the world are in Durban. Not surprisingly, there's a really good, huge Indian population there. But then I took some South African friends of mine on business. We went to the Dubai Sixes rugby about 10 years ago. And we walked behind the stands at the Dubai Sixes Stadium, and there was a bunny chow stall. And we thought, surely it can't be any good. There's lots of Indian people living in Dubai, though. So guess what? We went up into the stands. It was 38 degrees and we're eating bunny chow. And people are looking at us as though we'd gone crazy using our fingers in Dubai. What a delicate. What about British food, though? What have you found over here that you've gone, oh, I like that?
Nothing.
You're almost, well, you lived in Lancashire for playing for clubs up there. You must like black pudding.
No, I can't stand it, honestly. God,
Yeah.
people eat it here. I'm like, it can't be that.
I have to say,
Yeah,
black pudding on a braai, decent.
Is it all right? Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Right. I'll try it for you.
Most definitely. Hey, you're not here for much longer, Keegan. I think you've only got one game left, is it, or 2 games left?
I only hit back mid-August, so maybe 2 or 3 games.
Where do you think Chorley are going to end up? Is it just to make sure they don't get relegated because they're in that sort of zone at the moment at the bottom? But is there a chance of getting that halfway up the league still?
Yeah, no, I think they'll end mid-table. We haven't played badly the last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
Like winning's a habit, and we haven't had it for a while. So, but I do believe we are on an upward curve. If we together 2 or 3 wins, we mid-table could end 4th, really.
Absolutely. I think what's remarkable in the Northern Pyramid was that if anyone had said to me at the start of the season that at this stage, Chorley, Kendal, and Blackpool would be in 6th, 7th, and 8th position,
yeah.
That shows how strong the league is, but also shows that everybody is beating everybody, aren't they?
Yes. It's been quite a weird year in that sense. Like games you'd think that, okay, this team should beat them, and it's been the opposite, which, like I say, it makes the table quite even.
Absolutely. Final question, and it's the most important one of the lot. Hugh, if you want to put your video back on, you'll enjoy this one. Have you heard of someone called Matt Taff?
I haven't. I can't.
That's all we want to know. Matt's one of our colleagues who plays for Blackpool, and he has played against you.
Yeah. He obviously did nothing.
We're playing Blackpool this weekend, so I'll see him.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
No, he's a great bloke, Matt, and he's one of our close friends that we work with. Keegan, absolute pleasure catching up with you, mate. Thank you for choosing Chorley, one of my hometowns that I've lived in for many years. And enjoy the golf. You're right, it is good. Are the golf courses looking as yellow as Windsor Park?
Even worse.
Yeah. Very unusual.
You're getting plenty of distance on the drives then?
Yes.
Yeah.
For once in my life.
Brilliant. Enjoy, mate. Enjoy going back home to that new baby. You're gonna have got a couple of months off before you get going again.
Straight back into it. 2 weeks really, and straight back into it.
Wow. Enjoy. We'll be keeping an eye out on the South African season. How you go, mate? Hope to see you back over.
Yes.
Thanks, Keegan.
Cheers, Keegan.